It's been a long time. Stop. Come on. Yeah. Hey, yo, it's my life, my time, my rights, my rhymes, my grind, my struggle, hustle, sweat in my blood too. A predator smells fear. I smell a lot. My competitors flex here.
The road to WrestleMania is upon us. 2 weeks away, live WrestleMania 40. This is Slam Pigs Podcast. It is I, Travis, alongside my co-host. The OG boys are back in the house. Michael, what's going on? 2 weeks out, WrestleMania.
I'm getting super stoked. Sorry for the lack of voice. Been dealing with the seasonal shit that's been going around, so don't know how loud and obnoxious I can be for this episode, but don't let it fool you. I am as pumped as can be, like a kid on Christmas Eve.
And this isn't just any other. Yes, it's the 40th anniversary, blah, blah, but we're going. We're going to be there. And we're going.
Yeah.
Second WrestleMania for us. Thank you for the Christmas gift, Michael. And another vlog coming. Slam Pigs go to WrestleMania this time.
And I do want to clear up some hotel bookings. We are not in Camden, New Jersey. Okay, we are in Runnymede. It is 15 minutes away from Camden. It's a very nice suburb, okay?
Well, this is breaking news to me. I did not know that. I got all these screenshots of where we're staying.
We're at the Days Inn in Runnymede, New Jersey.
Well, that's a perfect segue to how this vlog at WrestleMania is going to be a little different, because we're not going to be alone this year, Michael. Good friend of the show is also making his way all the way from Louisiana to meet up at WrestleMania 40 at Lawman.
Sad Man Steve.
Yeah, at Lawman, Sad Man Steve, Kite Man, TJ, and he and his wife Melissa are actually the ones responsible for being like, do you know where Michael booked this? Look, it is showing me Camden, so
it's in Camden County. It's not in Camden, New Jersey.
Well, thank God, and no offense to anyone who lives in Camden, New Jersey, but I don't want to fucking go there.
We are 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
We're 20 minutes out of Philadelphia, and like I said at the top of the show, Michael, 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. Man, as good as, the build's been for most of this show, these go-home shows lately haven't been that hot. They've been like one or two must-see segments, and the rest is just like this tag team filler tournament on SmackDown last night. I actually caught SmackDown for the first time in a long time live on TV last night. And we're talking like Gallows and Anderson had a match against Grayson Waller and fucking Austin Theory. And you talk about the crowd not knowing who the fuck to cheer for. I thought Luke Gallows really fucked his knee up bad last night, but he didn't. He seems to be good. But yeah, I am excited because I don't think you have either. I've never seen a ladder match live. And like if I was watching this on pay-per-view, I'd be like, oh, it's just a way to get the tag guys in line. But I'm actually hyped to see it live.
Same. I feel like it's going to be a hidden gem of the whole card. Even though there's not going to be a bunch of build, I feel like with the amount of teams in it, it's going to be a huge spot fest where the entire crowd's going to be like, holy shit.
We don't really know we only know the main events really are going on night 1 and night 2. Other than that, I have no clue what's going on what night.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to stop on this special predictions show or you want to start from the top, you want to start from the bottom.
Hey, we can start wherever. We make the rules around here.
Let's start completely random. What I think could steal the entire goddamn show. It's not the match that I actually wanted for the belt, but I'll take it.
Gunther and Sammy?
Yes, and I actually wanted Chad Gable, but I'll take Sami Zayn. I think this could be match of both nights. I think back to Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. Gunther's just as good as Cesaro, and if that's any example of what Sami can do with the bigger wrestler, I mean, Jesus Christ. I think this could be a 5-star match easily, Michael.
This is going to be a great semi-main event for whatever night they choose.
Is this the time to pull the trigger? I see one thing WWE has always done. You go back to WrestleMania 10, 20, and 30. On these milestone manias, Michael, they feel like the feel-good manias where like a lot of the faces come out. You know what I'm saying? Like Brett beat Yoko, fucking WrestleMania 20, and that's Chris Benoit, blah, blah. Hate to say his name. And of course, WrestleMania 30 with Daniel Bryan, like the, it's if they don't do Cody this time, holy shit. But I think it's pretty obvious we're getting Cody as new champ. But I think Sami Zayn is probably going to be.
It's not obvious though. We cannot do that with WWE. You know how they love their long title reign.
I think Sami Zayn's going to take this. I think it's time. I think it's time to move Gunther up, especially if Cody's possibly getting a belt, or Seth Rollins even retains. It's time to bump him up. He's more than ready for that main event scene, and I think even though it's not 1986, Michael, I think him as like this world champion foreign heel could be fucking great.
I mean, it makes sense if you're going to pull the trigger on Cody because you need to have obviously thinking. If Roman's dropping the belt, Roman's probably going to be taking some time off to set up a feud wherever that is down the line, whether it's with a rumored feud with The Rock or whoever. You need to have some established heels lined up for Cody to face. And who better for Cody to face than maybe the most over-established heel in possibly WWE history, other than Roman? Gunther. Yeah. Talk about a dominant title reign. You talk about Roman's title reign. Gunther's out here week in, week out, defending that belt and doing it quite easily for the most part against legit talent and having banger after banger. It's been very impressive.
I've yet to see him have a bad match during this entire reign, Michael. Even the fucking Miz. That was a good match at Survivor. Yeah. I've yet to see even Ivar. And Ivar's not bad either. He's underrated. But yeah, it's been an almost flawless. And we're old school guys, and we always say like Kurt Hennig and Brett, Macho Man, and Steamboat. But I mean, you got to at this point.
He's up there with all of them in my book.
Exactly. You got to put him in there. That's at least top 5 ever to hold that belt. Right?
Do I like his character development? Maybe not. I think there's a little left to be desired there with the character development. But as far as the in-ring work and the believability, this guy's second to none. I don't like how they've tried to, I guess, pulled and not pulled the trigger with breaking up Imperium and keeping them together and like teasing dissension and then bringing them back together. Like, I feel like that's been kind of a clusterfuck. But as far as Gunther goes as a whole, like, this guy is legit. He's not missing anything. If anything, they have not done quite right by him in what's the word I'm looking for? Legitimizing his title run to the extent that it should be.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. So it's going to be a great match regardless.
But I disagree. I don't think Sammy's doing it.
Can't wait to see it live. Now, if Sammy loses, because they've been doing this angle since like January, the woe is me, Sammy.
Yeah.
Do you see him turning heel? If you don't get the you do?
I like Sammy as a heel.
I think
I like him as a chicken shit heel.
He works either way. He's that good. He really is.
And I think Gunther could keep the IC belt and still challenge for the Universal title.
I can see that too. It's been a long time since we've had like title for title or like,
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that makes that match more special. It doesn't have to be title for title, but Gunther doesn't have to lose the belt to get pushed into the main event scene, I don't think.
I agree. Well, I cannot wait to see it live. Let's talk about, you say feeling special. This match here, and our next match, Michael, I could see this easily kicking off night 1 or night 2 to kind of get it going. Let's talk about a match, in my opinion, as long as this goddamn storyline's been going, it should have just been more than, all right, brother, Jimmy versus Jay. I actually think Jimmy's going to win because he's had no fucking momentum, period. I mean, I kind of feel sorry for Jimmy at this point. Even though, obviously he's making good money and he's in the main event scene, he just, compared to his brother who's so fucking over right now, I think, and that sets up a rematch. I mean, you could do the brothers in a cage, fucking anything. I think there's more to go after this, especially since for me the build hasn't been that great the past month or whatever. But yeah. I got Jimmy. It's going to be a great match. Hopefully it's not like, remember back in the day, it was like fucking Vengeance 01. Like the Hardys had their first one-on-one match.
That's what I'm worried about.
And it was awful.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm worried it's going to be a Hardys 2.0.
It was awful. And I mean, even us as kids on the trampoline, right? We're brothers. We got to a point where we did it so much we didn't have to say shit to each other. I don't know if it was nerves with the Hardys that night or what, but ugh. And
I just don't think anybody wanted to see them fight each other.
I think, and they rest 25th anniversary, right? They had that
I feel like we're kind of going down that path with this match. That's my only problem with this match. Does anybody really want to see the Usos fight each other at WrestleMania?
Well, at least he didn't
Especially the
kill
way
Jimmy's
that Jimmy,
dog.
like you said, like the way Jimmy has been booked. Like, does it make sense?
I mean, it makes sense, but I just feel like it could have been presented in a better package. At least
Like, if we're going off how these guys have been booked in the past few months since they've split,
Sean and Marty.
this should be a fucking 5-minute squash.
Is this worse than Sean and Marty?
Jay should have no problem.
Yeah.
But I just don't think, at least for me, I don't really care to see them wrestle each other. I would much rather watch Jay fight Solo than Jimmy.
I'm actually kind of.
I think Solo is a much more legitimate like force for Jay to fight than Jimmy, and that's just me.
Plus, he's been presented so much better.
Correct. I just think that for me would have made more sense.
Same. So who do you got though? You got you said Jay.
I got to take Jay just in the legitimacy and the logical thought process of how they've been booked. Like, Jay is a top merch seller. He's got to get that win at WrestleMania. I just don't think Jimmy is believable enough to really beat him without a bunch of bullshit.
If you were booking, like I said earlier, would this be a good match to put on first, night 1 or night 2, to kind of get
this
the crowd?
Would be a filler match for me.
Filler match? All right.
Yeah, I just don't think there's as much anticipation as they thought there would be. I think they kind of dropped the ball on this one.
Well, so far, Michael, 2 matches and we're both at odds on each one. So maybe
shocker.
This next one is going to be a little tougher for me to predict. This match for me I have zero interest in this. These two don't have chemistry for me. I don't know what it is. And a woman who's been so confusingly fucking booked for me. Is she a face? Is she a heel? Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, Michael, women's world title match.
See, I'm actually stoked for this match.
I'm sure it's going to be a good match. That's not. I just the promos and it's like, and just the confusion of how popular Ripley is and not going against
Yeah.
It just feels like just a cold fucking. We needed to get them on the card. Here they are. But to be honest, both women's world title matches this year don't really do it for me. They just don't.
And that's fair. This one more so than the other one, I feel like, has left a lot to be desired on the booking front. I feel like this could have been booked a lot better, especially from the Becky side. I thought they did a great job, a few months ago when Becky said, I think you might be better than me, but I have to find out. But yet they kept throwing it off to where Becky would lose this and lose that. I didn't like that Becky lost a one-on-one match against Nia Jax. And then now they just had to give her that win back because of how they booked it. It's just I feel like Becky's having to jump through all these hoops every week while Rhea just kind of stands there and comes out and does a promo every once in a while. I feel like Rhea has kind of been pushed to the background and she's the dominant champion, as to where these two should have been booked more on a collision course to what they really have been. Is Rhea even with Judgment Day anymore? You never really see her come out with them. Is she a heel, like you said, or a face? What is her role here other than just being champion, as opposed to Becky, who has had a very kind of defined role in underdog challenger? I feel like they're trying to make her look like more of the stacked odds underdog challenger, to the point where it just kind of it falls a little flat with the booking. I feel like they could have done a little bit more.
And what better way, Michael, to make you want to root for this underdog babyface against this monster heel woman than to have a pay-per-view a month before this match in the monster heel woman's home country, where she's treated like a fucking goddamn savior and a hero? That's not confusing.
Well, they had to fill them seats, baby.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're having really problems doing that anywhere right now. I saw a report the other day. You know what's fucking nuts? This is probably not just financially. I'm talking attendance figures, house shows. They sold out again tonight. I just saw it on X or Twitter. It's the most successful run they've had since around 99, 2000 Attitude Era days. They're killing it. I don't know what.
They got that hot Ricky Morton fire.
I don't know what it was. Finally clicked, Michael. I don't know if it was the Bloodline story, the Codys. I don't know what it was. Just the overall.
Can we say what it really was?
The Vince thing.
Yes.
Right. But see, he's been so in and out for the past year. It's only like what the past 3 months where it's really
but I mean, you've seen it over the past year. Their attendance has gradually gone up since he hasn't really had as much of a hand in the booking aspect. So
I'll tell you one thing's for sure, especially catching SmackDown last night, the feel of these shows. I love this coming down the aisle shot they do now, coming back from break.
Yeah.
The Mysterio Santos Escobar match last night, which was a really good match, and that's the end of that match. I don't know if you saw. Is probably going to put another Mania match we're going to talk about tonight.
Filler.
There is a point though where they're getting a little too much with the POV. There was a point where I was begging for a hard cam shot, where it was kind of giving me a headache. So maybe we can ease up a little bit. Don't be so fucking edgy, Paul Levesque.
Well, you don't have Mr. Dunn there anymore, so I feel like they're experimenting a little bit. I feel like there is a little experimentation going on with the camera angles and how they really want to present things. But I definitely like the fact that it's changing and we're getting a different view. Like even on the video game, I've heard the WWE 2K24 is fantastic with how you can control the camera views and things like that. So I'm kind of stoked with the fact that they're experimenting with some things that we haven't seen in so long.
At the end of the day, the biggest positive for me is you can totally tell that the talent is allowed to go out and just cut loose now a little more instead of
other than on a promo.
No, I mean, from what I'm like last night, Montez Ford, you would have never saw this under Vince McMahon's watch. I feel like after they won, they were like posing, and then he like grabbed the camera on stage, and it was like, I don't know, it's just totally different feel. You can tell you can see it when you watch the talent. There's this breath of fresh air going. Even though there's a terrible stigma on the company right now, they're trying to get the bad seeds out. We haven't done a show in so long. We haven't talked about any of the Vince McMahon stuff. We're not going to do that tonight because that could be a 3-hour fucking show.
It's been overdone by everyone else anyway. If you want to hear about that, go somewhere else.
Everybody knows the deal with that. But it brings
We're
us
here
back.
for the positive shit.
We actually didn't predict a winner for Becky and Rhea, Michael. So who you got?
I'm going Rhea. I think Rhea retains.
I'm going to. I see no reason why to take it off of her right now. She's red hot. Becky Lynch, I mean, yeah, she's popular, but she doesn't seem as hot as she was a couple years ago. We actually went to Mania. Totally different kind of. So, which is a shame.
I could see this one opening up night 1 or night 2.
I put this on Twitter like 2 weeks ago or something. I was just, having a good shit, thinking about wrestling for no reason.
Sitting on the old shitter
early in the morning. Did the big time Bex bullshit the Vince McMahon call to turn into that ridiculous heel? Did that just kill the momentum for her? It had to be. I hated it. It was terrible.
I don't know what really killed it for her other than just some people in the women's division are not as over as they like to think they are. Yeah. Some of them are not in the company anymore.
Money.
Yeah,
that's
I could be no more disinterested.
God, that was cringe. Jesus Christ, man! I can't wait to bury that when we're not on a special WrestleMania episode one day. Jesus.
God.
I've got Rhea Ripley. You got Rhea Ripley. Finally, we've come together, Michael.
Now watch, Becky will win.
Let's go ahead since we're already getting the ladies. Let's go.
We don't know shit about wrestling.
Let's go to our other ladies title match. Io Sky defending against Bayley. I'll say it right now. You got to go Bayley. The Io Sky run. Io Sky's a hell of a wrestler, but this run has fucking sucked. She hasn't been a focal point. It should have been fucking Asuka if you're doing this leader of the group shit. I mean, she's the biggest veteran.
Yeah. I feel like Io Sky is definitely the workhorse, not so much the star talent. And she doesn't have the star power. She has the in-ring ability, and she's fantastic as far as inside those ropes. But like even with Asuka, it's just, I know it sounds bad in 2024 with the language barrier. You know what I mean? It's going to be so hard to get over these foreign heels when they can't really speak English. Like, how do they really get over what they're feeling when they can't properly enunciate an English sentence?
I think another big problem, Michael, because we both love her, who really wants to boo fucking Asuka?
That too, and who really wants to cheer Bayley? Like,
why should we? Logically, storyline, yes, I'm happy for her finally getting her Mania match. She should be the one to win it. She's who I'm going to predict, but yeah, why should anyone give a shit? after the character she's had.
Unless she's bringing back the hugger gimmick, like, other than nostalgia, what makes you really want to cheer Bailey?
Do you think we'll get the return of that? I don't think we're gonna. I think we're just gonna get Bailey.
Yeah. This is just such a bland feud for me.
Same.
Like, I felt like it's just something they kind of were like, up, let's go ahead and do it.
Can I ask you something? And I haven't seen anyone talk about this at all, and I notice it more and more since she's returned. Is Kairi Sane okay? And she just seems like she's on like an IV of like morphine drip. Like the lights are on, and she's just like a body stand. Is it me?
She's just on autopilot.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
It's another case. Like I said, that whole faction. Like, who's going to be the mouthpiece without Bailey? Now you see it. Like, without Bailey leading that faction.
Well, not even that.
It has no sizzle with the steak. I mean, you have all these great in-ring talents, but nobody to really get it over on a microphone or on a fucking level to where it builds a feud when you can't properly speak the language.
Who's your pick in this, real quick?
I mean, I feel like by default it has to be Bailey.
I think people are going to kind of fucking riot if it's not Bailey.
Yeah, it's just like this run with Io Sky has just been so lackluster. Like I said, because if there was ever a faction or people that needed a mouthpiece, that's what Bailey was to these people. And it's just not there anymore. So now it's just like a faction that's just there running amok without any real explanation other than the announcers trying to get it over. Like, goddamn, Michael Cole's trying his best to get this shit over, but everyone's like, it's just missing the vocal aspect of a feud.
Let me ask you real quick, since we're talking about announcers and shakeups, not to cut you off. Have you seen on SmackDown recently, now the pairing is just Corey Graves and Wade Barrett, they're actually fucking killing it.
Like that.
Corey Graves, it's a great feeling to just not have Michael Cole on something, or Kevin Patrick. Holy shit.
Well, that, and I've always thought that Wade Barrett was very underrated at the announce table.
He's great. He's got a great, I mean, obviously both these guys are former wrestlers. He's got a great voice, you know.
Yeah, and he's got that great like foreign JBL feel to him.
I know, you're just like me though. I miss me some Bad News Barrett, man.
I've got some bad news.
Goddamn podium raising like 40 feet.
Yes. I would love that behind the announce desk though. Give me that foreign JBL heat.
No, I thought you meant like the announce table raises like 40 feet in the middle of a match.
That would be awesome.
It would, but it'd be probably dangerous.
I know a lot of you thought that was a great match, but I've got some bad news.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Dave Meltzer gave it 2 stars. Let's talk about a match I'm actually excited to see. And I know you didn't watch SmackDown last night, but if you get a chance, they're really fucking trying to take a match that has nothing on the line except just a good old-fashioned grudge match. And again, not the match I fucking wanted for the guy, but LA Knight and AJ Styles, Michael. Yesterday on SmackDown, last night, they did an angle where LA Knight, they did raw footage cam. It was very Attitude Era, Pillman and Austin-esque, where he tried to break in AJ Styles' house and LA Knight got arrested. Yeah. LA Knight is still red fucking hot right now. And I knew that loss of Crown Jewel was not going to hurt him. The fans are not. And by the way, since we recorded, let's do it real quick. Deshaun Ricker, LA Knight, congratulations, getting the key to our city in our hometown. I was there. You couldn't make it. You had to work, but it was tremendous. Guy fucking what a hell of a turnout, our hometown guy. That was great. I wanted him in the U.S. title match with Logan Paul. Is that where you wanted him to? I just don't think it would have fit well. Really?
He needs to be in there with someone like AJ Styles. Logan Paul is not experienced enough to put him in there with a guy like LA Knight. Logan Paul's another guy that needs to be in there with a ring general. And not that LA Knight's terrible in the ring, but he needs somebody that can really complement his talents. And I don't think that Logan Paul was the right pick there, which is why they went the way they went. AJ Styles is going to make LA Knight look like a fucking $1 million.
I mean, what a hell of a guy to be paired with on your first Mania match.
I mean, AJ Styles is still a top 5 worker in the world to me.
He is, but let me be honest right now. And I know he just came back. He looks the best he's ever looked. Probably the roids. But talk about a guy who just constantly feels fucking mishandled. I don't know if
Well,
he just gets lost in the
it's by his
shuffle.
choice, though. He's been very vocal that he's coming to the end of his career,
I know it's his money
and
run.
he
It's his,
wants he
yeah.
wants to be a little more part time. Um, he wants to put newer talent over. So he's in a perfect role for a guy like LA Knight. Um, which is why I think once again is why they went the way they went here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it just makes much more sense to put Logan Paul with a guy like Randy Orton, who can carry the show in the ring and really kind of guide Logan Paul. Same thing with AJ Styles. He can make LA Knight, not that LA Knight needs guided or anything, but he's going to make LA Knight look like a fucking $1,000,000.
And I think
This
with
is,
how they've been booking this with like the break-ins, and I think this could be
yeah,
a match like last second they make no holds barred. And
yeah.
when we went to Mania, I can't remember the
The
number.
Miz and Shane McMahon.
What the fuck was the number? 35. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I could see it ending up like that, like on scaffolding and crazy spot. I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's fine. It's so
It's
people
going to be a
bitching
diamond
about.
in the rough kind of match where I think this really solidifies LA Knight as a legit top of the card talent.
People need to calm down. A year ago, the guy probably would have been released as the manager of the Maximum Male Models, and now he's on the card with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. So it's fine, guys.
He's
going to
doing
be
pretty
okay.
well.
And I still think there's a world title in his future. There, I said it. I don't even care. It's
I
coming.
mean, and he doesn't need it.
He doesn't.
Like, he's so over.
Yeah, he's got to. They got to start some big wins, and I think this is a hell of a step in that direction. Get a win. I'm going LA Knight.
I think it obviously has to be LA Knight.
Has to be. I don't see what AJ Styles winning does unless you're setting up a rematch. And then at that point, I kind of feel like this needs to be a one and done. This doesn't need a rematch.
I mean, I'll be popping hard for LA Knight, that's for sure.
Probably be our biggest pops of the night for our hometown hero, Mike. Not our hero. We're not fucking dorks, but you know what I mean. Go ahead.
He's my Lex.
Jesus Christ. He's my Paul Roma.
I'll be your hero.
Let's get right into that since you brought it up, Michael. For the U.S. title. Triple threat. Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens. The perennial loser, Kevin Owens, who doesn't win fucking shit, and we're ever supposed to expect he's going to do anything. And Randy Orton. To be totally honest, you're probably going to disagree. I see what value does Orton or Owens have winning that belt right now? That neither one of them need it. Kevin Owens is not dead in the water, but I mean he's on his money run, I guess. Logan Paul squeaking out a chicken shit win and just doing that cocky, you want to punch him in his face, holding his belt to just retain. I got Logan Paul sneaking his ass out and retaining this belt. I don't think it's time to take it off him yet.
See, this is where I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you a little bit. I'm gonna pull an Office Space move on you. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you a little bit there. He's had a little trouble with his TPC reports, but I actually see Kevin Owens being the one that wins this match
because he just never wins shit, basically. And
it's that, and I think it's Logan Paul's going to be taking some time off. You're going to need somebody to carry that belt for the next couple months. I just think Logan Paul's got so many outside ventures. He's just not going to be a full-time talent. You can't keep the belt on him forever. I don't think Randy Orton necessarily needs the U.S. title. I think it's going to benefit Kevin Owens more than anyone. Someone who can work the full-time schedule, carry the belt, and give it some legitimacy. Also, to give him a little jump start heading to the SummerSlam. Like Randy Orton, I think we're all kind of happy that he's back, but we all need to keep sight of the fact that he's coming back from an injury where he was pretty clearly told not to come back. So he's not going to be working the style of Randy Orton match that people are accustomed to, which is why you've seen him in these multi-man matches to kind of protect him and keep him safe, as opposed to Kevin Owens, who has no real restrictions in the ring and can work that full-time schedule. So I think just by default, Kevin Owens has to win this belt because somebody has to take that belt on house shows and, PLEs and, shit like that. I think it makes the most logistical sense for Kevin Owens to win at WrestleMania.
It's fair enough. I mean, you go either way. And I didn't even take into account like Logan Paul's not actually full fucking time. He's probably gonna take some time
Christ,
off.
he's now he has his fucking energy drink on the mat. So
Yeah, I hate it. I don't know. I'm a traditionalist with WWE rings.
I mean,
They've
I
always
totally
been blank.
agree.
But unless it's WrestleMania 12, get that shit off my fucking mat, basically.
Yeah,
You know what?
Even that was weird.
You know what I hated too, man? I've been playing on my fucking computer. I downloaded the emulator, like the old SmackDown games for PlayStation 1, right? All the arenas had the logos on the mat. It was like, what the fuck?
And that was so weird. It's
no,
not what you saw on TV.
You know why we hate it? Because it wasn't realistic. Because it was so WCW, the complete opposite.
Yes.
Yeah. And look, for some reason, I liked when WCW did it, though. I don't know why. It just worked for them.
Well, because they always did it. Like, at least from when they became themselves. You know what I mean? Once Jim Crockett was gone, it was like WCW had their thing, and they stuck to it. WWE has never had a fucking sponsor or a logo on the mat. So, which is why we're like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah. That was always a Vince call, and it's one of the calls Vince has made in his term when he was there that I actually agreed with. I think it does kind of look tacky.
We can put fucking Planet Fitness, Slim Jim, Tampax on our turnbuckles, but not on the mat.
Oh, man. All right, so I was talking earlier how on SmackDown last night, at the end of Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar, which was an excellent fucking match, and I can't believe Rey Mysterio is still going like he is. It's crazy, Michael. So somebody jumped out of the crowd in a Rey Mysterio mask for no fucking reason and distracted Rey Mysterio. Santos Escobar rolled him up. Who do you think that was, Michael?
I don't know.
Your boy. We're getting part 2 this year, probably. It looks like under the mask, he pulled it off. It was Dominic Mysterio, Michael. I guess it makes sense. You get part 2. Ray won last year. Maybe Dom wins this year. But this just feels so fucking desperate to get them both on the card last minute. I mean, they have not interacted really all fucking year. This whole LWO bullshit, which is
I feel like it has to be a tag match or something. I just don't think anyone wants to see Ray and Dominic one-on-one again.
I don't know, but
I feel like you got to do like maybe Carlito and Ray against Dominic and Santos, maybe. Like that would make more sense. But
if that
still,
is the
it's
match,
like such a filler pre-show match.
If it is the match, though, for the sake of the show, real quick, who do you got? If it's Dom and Ray,
I guess Dominic because he needs it more.
Yeah, I mean, he's the up and comer. Since I think that was November when TJ we're all at my house.
I could not be any less interested in that one-on-one match if it happens. To be fair,
let me ask you this: since November, we're talking 5 months later, has any of your thoughts changed on Dominic Mysterio?
Not at all. If anything, I think I've been proven more right than anything. He's gotten less and less TV time, become less of a focal point, like kind of been more legitimized as a glorified jobber, to be fair.
Yeah. Let's talk about a guy I'm really excited with the video packages, and last night's on SmackDown was great. Braun Breaker, he's going to be a big fucking deal. 23 miles an hour off the ropes. That's insane.
He knows how to hit that spear, baby.
Good God, those Steiners. No thanks. I'm good. I quit. I'm not going
Honestly, if I was going to deal with nostalgia, I would love to see Braun and Rick Steiner just get in there and tag up.
Good old Rick.
I bet you Rick could still go.
I don't think Rick's going to be welcome anytime soon. He's in some controversy with some...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well,
damn it.
Maybe Scott.
You
get Big Papa. Shit.
You're going to have a better chance of a solar eclipse than Scott Steiner in a WWE ring.
Maybe he'll wear a thong again if he does.
Jesus Christ.
I don't even think we've got all the participants.
What if they put Braun and Baron Corbin in the tag ladder match? That's fucking Wolf Dogs, baby.
That's where I was going.
What a terrible name.
Ladder match up next. Not all the teams are in it yet. So far, we got DIY. Christ, I'm looking. That's the other tag match. It's not on my format here, so.
Pretty Deadly didn't even make it. I'm upset.
They did not. I think you got Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, DIY,
Yeah, what are they called again? The new something Republic.
something dumb. That
Yeah,
it's.
it makes no sense.
I mean, like, I'm happy Pete Dunne's back, but I didn't want him really in a tag team, to be honest. Even though
And then you had what, the Good Brothers? Did they win?
they did not. They actually got beat by Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, who wrestle the Street Profits next week on SmackDown to see who will be one of the last teams entered. It's just a fucking mess using six pack.
For fuck's sake.
I'm just gonna say DIY for a feel good fucking moment. Why not?
Judgment Day is not going to retain.
That's not. Is that? Oh, they are in this match. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
the champs have to be in there.
That was the right match. Okay, Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, New Day, who it's not
Yep.
definitely not going to be the New Day. I could see R-Truth doing it, I guess, since he's been so featured. Who you got in this?
I mean, if I had to pick one, I'm going Awesome Truth, but that's just to set up a little bit later in the show for my prediction. The biggest swerve of all time.
R-Truth going to cost Cody?
I think Damian Priest is going to win the world championship match with Drew and Seth Rollins.
Let's go right to that.
I think Damian Priest walks out of there as the world heavyweight champion.
Perfect segue. Let's go right to it. Hell of a prediction.
He outseths Seth Rollins. He pulls the Seth Rollins on the man himself.
Let's talk about a
Comes in
guy.
there in the middle of the match.
Let's talk about a guy I feel fucking awful for this Mania season, who finally gets a chance to wrestle at Mania in front of people for the world title belt, who's taken a complete fucking backseat to The Rock and Cody and that fucking stupid tag match taken up night one. Drew McIntyre's gotten the shaft. And I know nobody knows if he's re-signed. That could be a factor. He has not come out and said it yet. I think he has. It's in limbo right now. I just feel bad for it. I think Punk getting injured fucked some shit up. I don't know, man. God, Drew just can't catch a break with promotion. I feel like.
Oh no, it's just there's always been a little bit of a disconnect with me and Drew McIntyre, I guess, as a viewer and him as a talent. I don't know what's missing, but there's something.
What do you prefer him as? Face or a shit-kicking face, or this heel thing he's doing?
I like him more as a badass heel, not this whiny ass heel.
You mean like when he was like bodyguard for Ziggler? Or
I loved him much better when we went 5 years ago and he was just a fucking kick-ass heel going against Roman.
and getting jobbed out.
Even though he lost, I just like that character of him. I love Drew McIntyre going into the Rumble and kicking fucking Brock out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that version of McIntyre, not the one that needs to fucking cry and moan because he didn't win the title. Like, I don't know. I feel like his persona is so much more fit for that badass rather than I need to make excuses.
It was
Like,
booked perfectly as finally the badass babyface that beat Brock when no one could. That was perfect. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. I wouldn't say that I like him more as a babyface, though.
And everyone forgets the actual main event of the pandemic WrestleMania was Big Show and Drew McIntyre. Remember that shit? Big Show came out for no fucking reason.
Oh, my fucking God.
When I saw that pop up, I was like, no, what? Because I gasped. Because I was so happy Drew won. I'm like, they wouldn't do this. And thankfully they did. Could you imagine?
Fucking Big Show.
Well, that's you know what? I'm going to copy your homework. I'm going with your prediction for the Damian Priest cash in just
You
because.
like it, huh? Yeah, I knew you'd like him.
I got to be honest. A lot of people are going to give me shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm over the Seth Rollins run. I don't understand the character. It's Kmart Riddler. The theme song.
He's been a placeholder.
The theme song's been over. I guess he's over. But if he didn't have that song, I shudder to think how over he would actually be, Michael. And I mean, he would be over because the Kingslayer shit was over. But I think it's a case right now where the silly wardrobe and the song are over way more than he actually is.
Yeah, I think it's time to go a different direction with that belt. I think he's done his job in legitimizing it and making it, as meaningful as they can make it to this point. But it's definitely time. If you're going to have Cody win the belt, you got to offset things. You can't have two babyface champs. So I think it's time for Damian Priest to kind of split away from the Judgment Day a little bit and be his own man, give him a chance to be that upper card talent. And I think WrestleMania would be a great, like, holy shit moment for him. I think a lot of people forgot that he has Money in the Bank. So, what better way to remind them than to have him come out, whether it's at the end of the match, in the middle of the match, whatever, at the beginning of the match? That would be even more badass. Like,
Now,
you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm in this match too.
if that's not the finish they go with, could you? Because this is what I was going to go with originally. I think all the shit talk that Drew's been doing to the guy who hasn't been seen since the Rumble, I think Punk could easily come out and cost Drew the match too. Because you got to,
Yeah,
Punk's got to show up somewhere.
I can't see Drew leaving there with that belt.
Which
Just
is
the
a
way he's
shame.
been booked.
Yeah, it's a shame for me because I'm such a huge Drew McIntyre guy. I just bought his figure the other day, Mike. It's on my wall.
But I also feel like it's such a foregone conclusion where everyone thinks it's going to be Seth. That's why I think it has to be Damian Priest.
If Punk's not in this, do you get Punk involved on these cards night one or night? You got to at least like a hey, how you doing, right? People remember he's fucking there.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with him, but yeah, I think whether he's a special announcer or whatever you want to do with him to get him on the show to get the little cheap pop, but
color commentator for the world title match, and then Drew gets like, thrown out, and then he talks some shit to Punk, and they get into it, and blah blah, and yeah.
Damian Priest comes in and wins.
Or you could tie it all in. There's a bunch of factors like
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
That's what distracts Drew, so Priest can beat Rollins. Boom.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm down. I don't like either man leaving there with that title. So I think it has to be Damian Priest.
Michael, we've almost done it. Proud of us. Killing it. Knocking it out. 2 matches left. The big 2. From what I see, we've covered them all. So that's our cards so far, Michael.
All right. Main event, night 1, tag match.
The, quote, biggest tag match of all time. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus the Tribal Chief and the final boss. The Rock.
Why don't you call him Seth freaking Rollins?
Seth Franklin Rollins.
I had to. I'm sorry.
If the baby faces are just going to win this match night 1, that doesn't really make any sense. You want Cody to overcome all the fucking odds to really get that, especially since we've waited a year now for the Brie match. We were talking about this off air, and we both fucking agree. Like, The Rock and Roman have got to win this because of stipulation.
My only issue with this is, does that mean Seth has to take the pin?
That's why it's such a stupid fucking match, right? Because then I think Cody's got to take the pin because that puts even more doubt, especially like kids for the next night, like little kids, like, oh no, Cody lost, he can't do it.
But who pins him?
I mean, do you have Roman do it, or that's his opponent the next night?
I think it's got to be The Rock.
Think? I mean,
if The Rock's not going to be involved in the finish, why is he there?
Do you think this match should be happening?
Should it be happening?
Yeah.
I think it's only happening because of CM Punk.
I mean, yeah. This is obviously a last minute shift, not only because of that, but the terrible backlash they got to just shoving The Rock.
Honestly, if I had to book it, I would have made it a 1-on-1 with Cody and The Rock. And then the winner of that match challenges Roman on night 2, kind of like they did with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way they went, they had to go this way just because the backlash was so hard. So
you can tell.
I really hate that they made this match.
Same. You can tell the complete difference in booking philosophies with Triple H and Vince McMahon. Like, as soon as that fucking
Vince would have just stuck with The Rock.
Exactly. Triple H, as soon as he sees, it seems like, as soon as he sees backlash like that, he shifts immediately. It's very refreshing, but it's also...
Well, yeah, he's listening to his audience.
Yeah. So,
and he's trying to pivot the best way that he can. I don't think this is a horrible idea. I mean, it protects The Rock from having to do, the majority of the work. But you're also risking, what if somebody gets hurt in this match?
I was thinking that too. Wouldn't that just be Cody's luck? He gets hurt.
Fuck, or Roman blows his knee out or some shit. Like, now you're jeopardizing night 2. You know what I mean? It's just...
And you could say, well, that's why Rollins is there to do all the work, but he's got to defend the world title next night too. What if he gets fucking hurt?
Yeah, it's... taking your three top guys and a celebrity and risking all their health in one tag match. I don't know.
What's going to be really interesting, Jesus Christ, like 11 years ago, right? The Rock, that terrible rematch with Cena at Mania, he tore like every muscle in his body, and that was him 11 years younger.
In the first 5 minutes.
And that's 11 years younger, so that's going to be
He was a
interesting,
lot
too.
more. He was a lot more slender.
Yeah.
Like if anything, he's gotten more and more jacked.
Let's take a little bet right now. I'm predicting 4 muscles torn. How many you got, Michael? We'll bet $1.
Are we talking tendons and muscles?
Yeah, I'm going 4 total for both.
I mean, if we're going ligaments, tendons, muscles, I'm going 10.
I'm going 3 tendies, 1 mus.
He's pulling at least one hammy. He's got a ham sandwich pulling. He's got a couple deltoids that are going to get yanked. Maybe a bicep, a tricep. A quad might get blown. Yeah, this might be ugly.
So we got the bloodline winning this then, right? Both of us?
My heart tells me Cody and Seth, but my head tells me it has to be the bloodline.
Yeah. And that brings us, finally, Michael, the top of the mountain. 1 year later. If I never hear finish the story again, it'll be too soon. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get it done so we can finish the fucking story. Cody and Roman. I mean, you want to take it? You want me to take it? This is the magnum
I think
opus.
LA Knight's going to win. I think Cody's going to tear his quad on night 1. He's going to need a replacement. It's going to be LA Knight. I'm going to get the main event that I wanted.
Or it could be like Ivar. Like, Ivar, get up. You're up.
Ivar? Did you just pick Ivar?
In all seriousness.
What is it with you and Ivar? That's like your third Ivar reference in this show, and he's not in a match.
I love the big guy. What can I say?
It's the hairy chest.
He's been having some kick-ass singles matches.
You just like his hairy chest.
It's kind of sexy. All right.
You like it, and you like his woman.
Let's pretend that nobody's getting injured, and this is the match we're getting. Who do you got if this is... And how? We'll both do who and how.
Cody by Rock Screwage.
Okay, fair enough.
Simple as that.
I got Cody with help from Steve Austin after. I don't see The Rock turning heel yet. This is just my shot in the dark, long shot booking decision. I think
Stone Cold coming back to his hometown of Philly.
We want the Sandman to come out and help Cody win the world title.
Maybe Paul Heyman pulls the old screw job.
Where's Ian Rotten? Let's get him out there to help Cody.
Get the old wise man pulling the old double cross.
That would be something.
I could see that too. Him going with The Rock.
That would be something. Definitely.
He already did it with Brock there for a little while.
Or Cody just could completely overcome the bloodline, paint by numbers with help from Seth Rollins and Jey Uso. That would be the most boring, predictable shit ever. I think there's going to be, like we both said, some high level shenanigans. Big time.
Honestly, the more I think about it, Paul Heyman turning with and going with The Rock makes some sense.
It does.
He sees the bloodline falling apart, and he's got to take his talents where he thinks they'll be, needed the most, which isn't with Roman anymore.
No, he's a businessman at the end of the day. Would he rather go with Roman or the biggest movie
now
star
he's a Hall of Famer?
Exactly. I can see that. I think either way, they absolutely cannot 100%. I feel like you got to agree with me. They can't do again what they did last year. They just can't.
If Roman walks out of there with that belt,
they can't do that.
Ugh.
And I know how WWE loves to piss off the fans. I know it's kind of a new regime now, even though last year at Mania, it was still Paul Levesque. But I'm ready for the bloodline shit to be done. It was great.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to have to try and leave that stadium if he's still got the belt.
The bloodline story and everything has been great while it's lasted the past couple years, but it's time to move the fuck on for your main event scene. It's just fucking time.
I'm already feeling unsafe enough. I don't want to leave there if he still has the belt.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Bunch of pissed off people in Philadelphia. It's already a pissed off enough city.
hopefully on our vlog too, by the way, we're going to check out Gino's and Pat's, the touristy cheesesteak places in Philly.
Yeah, I saw there's some I just got some things in my email. There's some like tourist opportunities where there's some bus tours, some like hop on, hop off bus tours, like sightseeing and stuff. We'll have to definitely check that out.
Put the whiskey on tap because Slam Pigs are coming, Philly. Get ready in 2 weeks. So we did it, Michael. That's our WrestleMania 40 prediction.
Get ready, Rock, because we're coming.
Real quick, while we're here, before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out again. Thank you very much to a very special first time guest, Renee Elizabeth Lawrence, for joining me for a Hall of Fame preview. Michael, it was a good time. Very sweet, classy lady. She definitely knows her old school wrestling. Hall of Fame class is very random this year, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm so hyped for Bull Nakano, and I know you popped too when you saw that. Well deserved.
I was excited.
Hell yeah. That match, the Wonder Blaze.
I'm a little upset that Bray didn't get in, but yeah, we got to get The Rock's mother in there now that he's in charge.
I think the Bray thing still, I don't think they want to do it because it's still a little too fresh. It is cool that they put the U.S. Express in. First of all, 2-time Hall of Famer Barry Dirty Windham. Shout out to him. And just the fact that their names are Wyndham Rotunda, that's pretty fucking cool.
I don't know. I felt like the last announcement with The Rock's mom was just a little bit like, oh, really?
I know she was like a big booker in like the islands or some shit, but
I'm sorry, she's never going in the Hall of Fame if The Rock's not on the board.
Exactly. Nobody would have fucking ever known that if she wasn't The Rock.
Same with Thunderbolt Patterson. No offense to Thunderbolt.
He was. I talked about. I don't know if
he was on the ultimate blacklist.
Yes.
There's no way Vince puts him in the Hall of Fame. That was definitely another Rock move.
Like I said in the Hall of Fame, cheap plug, that episode, he made JYD in ring look like Ricky Steamboat. He was fucking terrible. Awful.
It wasn't good. He was all promo.
Thank God for Dusty Rhodes to come along and like have enough couth to be like, you know what, that could work if the person behind that promo didn't fucking completely suck. I'm going to ask him if I can borrow that.
Copied a lot from him, to be fair.
Well, that's the thing I talked about on that show. Unlike Hogan and Ventura with Graham, he actually went up and asked Patterson. A lot of people don't know that, if he could borrow the style and that. So that was pretty fucking classy of Dusty. Thank God.
To be fair, Thunderbolt kind of sealed a lot of his own fate. I don't know if you've seen some of the YouTube stuff where they went on the Donahue show and accused different people of different things. But
not only that, if anybody ever, I talked about it too on that episode, if anybody gets a chance, check out some Teddy Longstreet interviews. Kind of an Uncle Tom too was old Thunderbolt. So
but
classiest
between that and Ole Anderson, I know he was not a big fan of Ole, who just passed away.
Also a racist.
Definitely, not that it's the first person to ever accuse Ole of being racist, but I know he blamed a lot of it on Ole and some guys like that really held him back. But hey, here we go. It's a new era in WWE. We're going to get some people in the Hall of Fame that never thought you'd see there.
Well, while we're here, we already got our 2-for-1. We snuck this little preview in. Let's just do the last inductee they've announced. We throw about Muhammad Ali. I know he only really had that match with Gorilla Monsoon in like WrestleMania 1. Like, hey, I'm a ref on the outside, but it's Muhammad Ali. I'm actually shocked he wasn't in fucking way earlier, to be honest.
How'd that
not happen?
Especially since he actually kind of worked a match before, I guess, with Antonio Inoki.
I wonder if him and Vince had fucking heat, because why wouldn't they have tried to do this when he was still alive?
I'm not sure.
Fucking weird. It's so weird.
But by the time they were really thinking about doing like celebrities in the Hall of Fame, I think Ali was pretty much kind of brain fried. But
yeah,
I don't know how well that speech would have went.
Yeah, it's
not to sound awful, but just to be fair,
it probably would have been more coherent than Mr. T or the Iron Sheiks. To be fair,
I humble, motherfucker.
And fucking Mr. T thanking his mom for 40 minutes, and all he did was like that terrible boxing match at Mania, which is terrible. Jesus. That's it. That's our WrestleMania 40 prediction. One more, Michael. Where can everyone catch you?
You can catch me on X at Mike the Slam Pig. Also, here on the Slam Pigs podcast. I'm not really on a whole lot of platforms anymore. I'm getting old and boring.
That was a really fucking depressing plug.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Get over there. Give him a follow at Mike the Slim Pig on Twitter. It's weird you said X. I didn't see that coming.
Well, that's what it's called.
You swerved me, bro. You swerved
Well,
me.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get used to calling it what it's called. It is getting annoying that people just won't let it go. They still have to call it Twitter.
Well, you can
It's
follow
not Twitter.
You
It
can,
hasn't been Twitter for like 6 fucking months. Can we just call it what it's called now?
you can follow me on that platform too at Reset Button Pod, which is my other
On
channel.
X.
Yeah. My other channel, Reset Button Podcast on YouTube, video games, retro games, and my other channel on YouTube with our buddy TJ, who we're going to meet up with Mania, like we said. Horrors, not horrors, of Hibiki. Everybody does that. Sick of it. It's not horrors.
You guys fucking prostitutes?
I couldn't get away with I wouldn't have a channel if I called it Horrors of Hibiki or get pulled. So
Oh, I mean, it'd be kind of fitting for you two.
the next time they're going to see or hear from us, Michael, we are going to be around like 80,000 fucking people. So
We're gonna be going, and we're gonna be hitting some diners.
Esther's Part 2.
We're gonna hit Esther's up again, and we're gonna have a great time.
Hell yeah. And
We're gonna try and find some sheepskin.
river boats.
Yes.
At least, we gotta go to goddamn New Jersey again, don't we?
Yep. Fucking numbers.
Fucking numbers. It smells so great in New Jersey. Until then, the next time we guys see it be at WrestleMania. Michael.
Mike.